That famous philosopher and diva extraordinaire, Marilyn Monroe, once made a very poignant, and for our purposes, a very appropriate statement. She said, and I quote, "A career is great, but you can't snuggle up to a career on a cold and snowy night." Isn't that a brilliant statement? And a great way for us to introduce the topic of work-life balance. The idea that, yes, a career is a great thing. It is, isn't it? Well, most would agree anyway. I certainly would. I'm in the midst of my second career, and Lord willing, if I live long enough, I may go for a third career. The problem occurs when we focus only on a career to the exclusion of all other things, such as a family, our good health, other responsibilities, and important relationships. The famous author, Rabbi Harold Kushner, the author of the book, Why Bad Things Happen to Good People, probably said it best. He said, "You could not consider yourself a success if you wrote great books, amassed great wealth, achieved great power, yet in the process, lost the things that are most important to you, such as a family." Success, true success, must be balanced. Unfortunately today, ladies and gentlemen, we will not be able to put on our oxygen tanks, our flippers, and our masks and scuba dive the topic of balance. We're just going to be able to skim the surface a bit here. So forget about the objectives that I have listed there. That's for a full-day workshop. What I will do today, I'm going to go ahead and answer maybe 3 or 4 questions that you may have in your mind about the topic of balance. The first question might be, what do we really mean by balance? What is it? I've got a short definition here. Balance is the ability to create a life, not just make a living. It's the ability to integrate all areas of your life. That includes financial, personal, professional, and spiritual area. Second question might be, how do I know if I am in balance or if I'm out of balance? I feel okay, everything's here, and nobody complains too much about my time management skills. Not too much anyway. I have 3 simple questions that you can address that may help you in this endeavor. First question, for the ladies, or primarily for the ladies, do you frequently feel overworked, overcommitted, and perpetually overwhelmed? I see, okay, there are several of you here who do that. Gentlemen, or mostly for the gentlemen anyway, are you away from home so much, whether it be in work-related activities or maybe hobbies like golf, fishing, that your wife is taking to showing your picture to the children with the admonition, if this man appears at the front door, let him in. He is your father. Or thirdly, are you like this sad gentleman who on the bumper sticker of his car had this on it, "I used to have a life, but my job ate it." If you can relate to any of these questions, your problem could be that you desperately seek balance. The third question could be, why do we really address this subject today in this generation? I mean, if I would have asked my father, who died in 2006 at 96, about this question, here was a gentleman who at the age of 13 quit school to work and support his parents and his 6 younger siblings. If I would ask him, "Dad, do you have balance?" he would have looked at me like I was out of my ever-loving mind. You thought, are you crazy? But society has changed, hasn't it? We have become a more fast-paced, action-oriented, materialistic, consumer-driven society. A society where men and women leave work at 6, 7, or 8 o'clock in the evening, fight through traffic. They do, don't they? You're agreeing with me here, aren't you? Thank you, I appreciate that. Fighting low blood sugar to arrive home as what is lovingly referred to as the arsenic hour, to start their second job, taking care of home and household. Ladies, I have empathy for you. See, when I grew up in a small town in Montana, my mother did not work. But today, if you have a career, which you do have, you have a career, you have a second job at home, taking care of the home and household. If you have children, you have a third job, taking care of the children. Is it any wonder that no one has invented a lazy girl's chair? I've never heard of one anyway. Technology was supposed to help us out, but technology has added another task for us to attend to every day. Plus, it's more expensive. We have to work harder and longer hours to pay for it. In addition, maybe there's a couple of you here, but I think few of you have totally mastered technology. Have you? I haven't. I still cannot master that old dinosaur, the VHS recorder. I can't remember how to program it. It's down in our family room downstairs, still blinking 12, 12, 12. And I have to put a book in front of it. Is it any wonder, with all of these situations we deal with today, that so many people are desperately seeking balance? What is the primary reason that society is dealing with this situation today? And I would say one primary reason, we'll just be able to deal with one, is the pace of life today. How would you describe the pace of life today? Is it fast? Is it hurry disease? Is it the busyness syndrome? It is, isn't it? My parents, the old folks in East Helena where I grew up, would describe it this way. They would say people are running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to accomplish a myriad of tasks on their to-do list and not really getting much done because they don't understand the difference between activity and accomplishment. And busyness has become a badge of honor that we wear today. But you won't after I give you this definition of busyness. Remember this and carry this home with you. Busyness is the anesthetic that dulls the pain of an empty life. Why are we so busy? We are busy because today so many of us in society want to do it all. You want to do it all, don't you? You do. You want to do it all. I was at a meeting a few months ago where a good friend of mine, Randy, gave what was supposed to be a humorous talk, but there was an undertone of seriousness and kind of sadness. And the theme of the talk was she wanted to be able to cook like her mother-in-law, at least as good at, if not better. Well, here's Randy. Randy is a person who has 3 children. She has a job, full-time job. She has a husband. She writes grants on the side. She has a full spiritual life. She wants to cook like her mother-in-law or better. She wants to do it all. Can you do it all? Can you do it all? You can't. I know. I tried. When I started my dental practice in Bozeman, Montana, I tried to do it all. I was so active. My wife would have I was referred to at that time as a peripatetic perpetual motion machine. My wife would have called me a pathetic perpetual motion machine. I was actually away from home on a hunting trip when my second child was about to be born. And don't panic. I made it home for the birth that evening. But I realized that what I was going to have to do, I was going to have to figure out what was really important in my life because I couldn't do it all. I had to decide what I valued, what was important. I had to decide what were my crystal balls. For me, this is what you have to decide. What are your crystal balls? What are your values? What is most important to you? Hey, see, for me, it was my marriage. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think my marriage was so important because even though my parents were married for 60 years, they had maybe only 3 or 4 years of happiness in their marriage. I learned from my parents that marriage is God's way of keeping us from fighting with strangers. Marriage was important. I had to put my dental practice up there, my business, that had to be right up there as my crystal ball. My children were third, behind my wife, because why? They're temporary visitors in the home, aren't they? They left us. They're in Portland, Oregon now. Fourth was financial independence, which related back to my profession. Fifth was good health. I persistently work out and take care of my health. These were my crystal balls. What are your crystal balls? Start identifying them. Once you determine your crystal balls, then you can identify your rubber balls. These are the things that are least important to you. Your rubber balls. What is least important? See, for me, I'm almost embarrassed. a Marlboro man from Montana who stopped hunting and fishing. They were my rubber balls. I could let them go and they could bounce back up later. What are your crystal balls? And what are your rubber balls? And what do you do with your rubber balls? You put them on your not to-do list. Yeah, that's right, I said that. Every day you create a to-do list, don't you? Do you? I want you to every day now create a not to-do list because you can't do it all. You can't do it all. Finally, it's interesting because balance is a process, or I've learned that anyway. It's kind of like success. It's a journey, not a destination. You always seem to be walking that tightrope and trying to attain balance. I thought of an analogy just the other day as I was hitting some golf balls. Balance is like golf. Once you think you have it all figured out, you might be a golfer right there. Are you a golfer? Once you think you have it all figured out, once you think, man, I've got this sport knocked, I've got it down, I've got it mastered, then you are headed for a downfall. Good example. Several months ago, my wife and I took a road trip in the car. I'm safely ensconced in the car, buckle my seatbelt. My wife locks the doors. She turns to me with this very determined look on her face, almost angry, really. And she said, "Tom, you are a hypocrite." Boy, that will get your attention. She said, "Tom, you love your profession that you're in now, your second career. You spend all your time there. You do not focus enough on my needs. You are a hypocrite." Wow. Back to the drawing board. It's a process. And what do we do when we go back to the drawing board? We first of all determine what is important to us, don't we? Our crystal balls. What are your crystal balls? What do you value? What is most important? Once you determine what are your crystal balls, then you can distinguish what is least important, your rubber balls. And what do? You let them bounce. You let those rubber balls bounce because you can take them back up again later. You put them on your not to-do list. If you will do just these few simple steps that I've outlined, determining what you value, what is important, your crystal balls, putting your rubber balls on a not to-do list, you will become a meaningful specific instead of a wandering generality. You will depart from that mass of individuals. You will take that road less traveled and depart from that mass of individuals who today are, by all appearances, desperately seeking some balance. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.